Hi there, I'm Philip Kirk in Nashville, and I want to thank you for clicking on this brand new channel. I've named this channel My Third Grandfather, which I certainly understand is an odd name, and toward the end I'll explain where that name came from. This is an introductory video in which I'm hoping to give you a brief glimpse as to some of the future videos I'll be making. I know you're watching many other videos, so I'm going to try to limit mine to 12 minutes or less, although a few might be a little longer or shorter than that, hopefully no more than 20 minutes. Now, why am I making these videos? My background is in law, finance, and men's cosmetics and clothing accessories. Back in 2005, I started a finance-related business, which I have since sold. When I started that business, I had to do a great deal of research into finance-related matters. And it took me less than 6 months to realize I had stumbled into the deepest rabbit hole I had ever encountered in my entire life. And I'm not exaggerating when I say it has had a profound effect upon me. I'm hoping to pass that information along to you so that you can have the benefit of it while you're young and perhaps use it to avoid the not so obvious pitfalls I've uncovered. After about 3 years into doing the research, I got the idea of writing a book about what I had learned. The working title of the book was Rule 1. The subtitle was What the 99% and most of the 1% Don't Know. Beginning around 2008, I started collecting my notes and other research writings, in addition to reading many dozens of books. And by 2019, I had amassed over 15,000 pages of these notes and other research. When it came time to begin the book, I realized that I wouldn't have enough time to adequately put all my findings in a book, so I've decided to do an abbreviated version of the book in these videos. Some of the subjects I'll be covering are how to figure out what to believe. After hello, it's all propaganda. Rule 1 of life. Rule 2 of life. Where does money come from? Perpetual war. The Federal Reserve. 9/11. What the so-called deep state really is and how it works. Why you don't make much money. What does it take to make big money? The moon landing hoax and many other subjects. I'll also cover some success-related topics along with topics men and women should know about as they go through life and many others which will help you live happier and more productive lives. Also, we'll take a detour from these heavy subjects and I'll take you on some tours of Nashville. I'll also do a few simple woodworking shop tip videos. Now, while it may seem to be an overstatement or hyperbole, I'm going to tell you that the world you see and experience every day is somewhat of a magic act and you are the audience. Meaning that what you see is not reality. It is a set of circumstances designed for you to believe whatever it is the magicians are trying to make you believe. Sounds odd, I know, but you'll fully understand it afterward. Some of these magic acts which distort your reality are quite simple and harmless. However, there are some which result in enormous death and destruction. I'm hoping to give you the ability to recognize when you are being lied to and when your reality is being distorted, so that you can make good decisions as to how to conduct yourself. I'll occasionally do book reviews. I also want you to know that I'm a big fan of old sayings and aphorisms, and I'll have a few videos highlighting those sprinkled in from time to time. Aphorisms are immensely rewarding in that they are the distillation of many years of wisdom compacted into a very efficient phrase. Now, where did the name My Third Grandfather come from? My first steady part-time job when I was in high school was sacking groceries at one of the stores of a grocery store chain here in Nashville called the H.G. Hill Company. It was founded by a very successful and admired resident of Nashville named Horace Greeley Hill Sr. When I was working there, it was Horace Greeley Hill Jr. that was running the business. He had several stores, mostly on main roads here in Nashville, and it was a very good and successful business. The business followed the principles of Mr. Hill and did not sell beer and was not open on Sundays. After the death of Mr. Hill Jr., the stores began opening on Sundays and also sold beer. The H.G. Hill stores were also the first grocery stores in Nashville to accept credit cards. That was a new thing back then. After many decades in business, however, the chain eventually sold to other grocery businesses, and now the company remains in an even more profitable manner in the form of real estate investments of very upscale shopping centers and high-scale property ownership in general. The store where I worked was in a little city in the heart of Nashville known as Belmead. Belmead was the richest area in Nashville and probably in the entire state at the time, and may still be with many multi-million-dollar homes. I would work in the evenings after high school and on Saturdays. On Saturdays, as a treat to myself, before going to work, I would go across the street to a little bar on what was known as Harding Road, or Harding Pike now. I would get a ham and Swiss on rice sandwich to eat at lunchtime. And it was thick. It was like 4 inches thick, and it was wonderful. When you went in, there was in fact, I remember that sandwich now, it was so good. When you went in, there was a bar in the front, and this was an old, rough-looking place, although the people inside were definitely not rough. And across from the bar, behind the bar stools, was a big round table. It would seat about 8 people, and behind that were 2 pinball machines. And I'll talk about pinball machines some other time. I'm talking about real pinball machines. It's a fascinating story, I guarantee it. When I would go in, it would be like 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, and there would be men at the table who you could tell by the fact that some of them still had their golf shoes on, were either going to or coming from the golf course. And seated with some of these older men would often be 2 or 3 young men, teenagers, say maybe 14, 15, or 16 years old, who had probably been playing golf at the Bellamy Country Club with their grandfathers, or nearby Hillwood Country Club or another golf course nearby. Young guys were not drinking beer, of course, although their grandfathers were. Anyway, while I'm stacking groceries across the street, I knew in my mind that these were some of the luckiest young men in the city of Nashville, and that they were getting to sit there with successful men, their grandfathers, and hear the stories that they would tell and hear them converse with other successful men. They were learning how to be sociable, how to shake hands, all those kinds of things that make a young man a successful part of society. So I developed the mindset that young men who have a successful grandfather who they can hang around with or listen to or get guidance from are some of the luckiest young men in the world. It's not that their fathers were not successful, just that the grandfathers had the extra time to spend with them at that time in their lives. Anyway, thank you for clicking on this new channel. And I understand that you're not getting a lot of good quality content in this introductory video. So I'm going to ask you to please gamble on me and give me at least a temporary thumbs up. Subscribe and click that notification bell so that when I do upload some more videos, you'll know about them. Also, would you please consider bookmarking the channel? And I guarantee that these later videos will be better. I look forward to visiting with you again, and until next time, over and out.